Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. Hope everybody is having a wonderful day. Sorry for the delay in videos, and it is great to be back. I was sick. I completely lost my voice for about the last week. It's just coming back now, so it's going to be a little bit raspy. Sorry if I cough here and there. I'm about 90% back, but I wanted to get back, get comfortable making videos, get back on daily routine, talking about updates in the market. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to really stay up to date. I was more focusing on myself and trying to recover in terms of what was going on. Peaking on the market here and there, though, but not staying crazy involved. We're going to be coming back full force, giving you guys daily updates in terms of Palantir. We'll be giving you guys a quick update what we're seeing in terms of price action in the overnight hours right now. This is going to be more of a quicker video, just more of a welcome back. So thank you guys so much for joining. Hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos. And of course, not a financial advisor, collecting the data and dispatching it to you. It's great to say that again. Palantir right now closed in terms of Friday markets close at 90.96. And where we specifically see Palantir right now in the overnight after hours on Robinhood is at 93.33. So we're seeing a lot of buying pressure that's actually coming in, and we're seeing stock futures across the board that are actually doing quite well. Looking at the VU here, right here, which is the Vanguard index for the S&P 500, it's up about $4 nearly in just the overnight hours right now. So could this be a good catalyst for Monday? At the market open for at least having some decent buying pressure with the recent dips that we've seen in the market. Of course, this isn't just Palantir focused. This is more just uncertainty that we've seen with the tariffs. One thing, though, with the tariffs and the trade war to remember is April 2nd. Remember that those tariffs were delayed in terms of those reciprocal tariffs. Now they're actually going to be coming in that delay when they're actually going to be put in place as April 2nd. That's going to be happening here in just about a week and a half. So we'll see if that uncertainty kind of carries along. We'll be talking about some other big pieces of macroeconomic data being released this week. Now looking at Palantir at 90.96, this is a good price level considering where we've seen with the market atmosphere, what we've seen with pressure. And looking at support levels right here, Palantir has actually been doing a good job consolidating here in the 90s. Will it have a push up here to the 100 resistance point? I think it's going to depend on what's going to be happening with kind of the market sentiment. If we see any individual things happening with Palantir and just in terms of what the overall buying pressure or momentum will look like in the market. We do have that psychological kind of resistance point for Palantir right at about that $100 zone. But to get back in the triple digits, I think would be a great successor for Palantir and will bring more confidence into this individual stock. Looking specifically, we don't have a ton of news. Now, we know Palantir had its recent event. We've seen securing multiple collaborations, partnerships with things like R1 here for healthcare, bringing AI into there, Databricks, to bring a more secure data architecture. Databricks and Palantir kind of working together to build a joint solution rather working on their own things. We covered this the last time that we made a video, and I guess we've seen with the share repurchase program right here, Palantir buying back over 342,000 shares. So in terms of an individual company looking at that perspective, I'm still very bullish on Palantir and the collaborations that they are making. One thing that we are seeing talking about here near its 50-day line, Palantir, is it still a buy? One of the big things for the federal budget cuts, that was a big piece of uncertainty that we saw for Palantir in terms of the defense budget cuts. But however, I'm more on the side and on the perspective that I think Palantir could actually be an outlier and a benefactor with these budget cuts because it can bring AI solutions into these governmental contracts and even this defense contracts, which will allow Palantir to have the opportunity to fill those areas that might be cut with AI, bringing those types of solutions and helping to reduce waste, improve productivity and efficiency across the board. We know insiders like Alex Karp have had their SEC filings for selling more shares. That is not a big kind of red flag to me. And the fact that Palantir and these insiders, they have every right to sell shares, and they do it for multiple different reasons, such as tax reasons and just raising capital for different reasons. In terms of the market, what's been happening? The S&P 500, in terms of Friday close, the market actually finished here in the green, which is great because we've seen a decent trailing of the red. Year to date, we are down right now with the uncertainty with the tariffs. Now, getting into a little bit of a positive territory here, we do have some flexibility here with the tariffs. Remember, maintaining that the tariffs implemented at the April 2nd deadline, like I mentioned earlier in the video, will be reciprocal, saying that all countries that basically have tariffs on the U.S. Goods, they will be charged with a tariff. If they're charging the U.S., say, the U.S. is coming with that same percentage tariff with them. In terms of companies right here, citing confusion and uncertainty around what's going to be happening with the tariffs, I couldn't agree anymore. We see a lot of kind of, threats with the tariffs, delays, negotiations. These could be big negotiations, and this is causing the S&P 500 uncertainty to fall into correction territory at one point during its sell-off since late February. Now it's sitting about 8% down from its record high. So the question is, does it have more time to go down here? And that's where we lead to what to expect in the markets this week. One of the big things is we do have fresh inflation data and housing market data and earnings from some big companies coming up this week. The February personal consumption expenditures, the PCE index, is scheduled for Friday, so that's going to be hanging around while consumer sentiment kind of reports on data on housing sale and prices are expected. We also see GDP data that's going to be coming out. That's going to be in the spotlight. And the Fed president here leads a schedule of the Federal Reserve to speak this week, which will kind of give remarks probably on what they're looking at. Now, if you had to remember from terms of the January index, that has showed us that actual prices were cooling a little bit in terms of inflation, even though the Fed decided to keep rates stable. That is probably going to, in my opinion, kind of stay relatively stable despite kind of these declines right here, keeping interest rates steady. The Fed is very hesitant as they do not know what the whole impact on these tariffs are going to be. So they're probably very hesitant on actual cutting rates further. One of the opinions out there, though, is that the administration is trying to actually bring down market prices due to a restructuring of a lot of debt that they need to refinance here in the near future. If they can bring down rates by bringing down the markets, then they can essentially refinance at a much cheaper percentage. What do you guys think about that? That is a big theory right now that is going across the board. Looking at some of the other stocks that we talked about here, just to wrap up, we see Hims and Hers is down to $34 right now. Big Bear has been taking a big decline. Remember, it popped up quickly to $10, now down under $3 at $2.9. This could be a decent entry point looking across the board. And looking at things like Tempest, remember, and this stock really blew up after Nancy Pelosi announced her exposure and position to Tempest. We see right now at $51.35, where Tempest was just nearly $100 stock a few months ago. So not even about a month ago. Thank you guys so much for joining back. What do you guys think is going to be happening in the markets with Palantir this week? I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Have a wonderful night.